Hello, this is BritSimon. I thought I'd record a quick video to show you how to read the Visa Bulletin as it concerns the DV lottery. The Visa Bulletin concerns other types of visas, but I'm particularly going to focus on DV lottery, the green card lottery. Okay. So the Visa Bulletin is the place where the Department of State communicate the progression of case number processing, because not all of the case numbers in a DV lottery year will be processed on day one or will be ready for interview on day one. They spread out processing over the complete year, so a 12-month period, starting in October of each year and ending on September 30th of the following year. So, for example, DV 2019 is due to complete on September 30th, and no DV 2019 interview took place prior to October 1 of 2018. And again, to show you about DV 2020, DV 2020 interviews will start on October the 1st, 2019, I beg your pardon, and they will finish no later than September 30th, 2020. So processing is spread out based on case number order over the full 12 months of that period. The Visa Bulletin itself announces the visa availability for family-based, employment-based, and DV lottery visas. So we're particularly focused on that last one, DV lottery. The availability in the context we're talking about, DV lottery, means the earliest date your case could be interviewed. The Visa Bulletin is published every month between the 8th and the 15th of each month. People ask me about this all the time. It's between the 8th and the 15th of each month. Let's just repeat that one more time. The 8th and the 15th of each month. There's no need to ask me on the 5th of the month when the Visa Bulletin is going to be published. It will be published between the 8th and the 15th of every month. The naming convention is a little confusing, so I'll explain that. The scope of the Visa Bulletin, it actually gives us information for the DV lottery for 2 months at a time. 1 month is new info, and that we call the advance notice section, and the other month is just a repeat of the previous month. We always look at the advance notice section. The naming convention is a bit odd. It goes like this. The Visa Bulletin could be published, let's say, in month A, and it is named for the following month, month B, and it concerns interviews of month C. Still confused? Okay, let's give a proper example. The Visa Bulletin published in May would be published between the 8th and the 15th of May, let's say, and that is called the June Visa Bulletin, and it shows numbers for interviews in July. Plus a repeat of the June interview numbers as well. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. It would be published in May, called the June Bulletin, and shows the numbers for July. A little bit confusing, but we can deal with it. And what do the numbers mean? Well, the numbers per region. I'll show you this in a few moments, but the numbers per region mean that only case numbers under the number that is published can be scheduled for interview. So if they publish the number 7,100, for example, only case numbers up to 7,099 could be interviewed. The number has to be under the number that is published on the Visa Bulletin. So if your case number is 7,100 in AS region, Asia region, and it shows the Visa Bulletin number is at 7,100, you cannot be interviewed in that month. You have to wait to the following month. And there is no way that somebody can be interviewed prior to their month. It's just not technically legally possible. It doesn't matter if you're in a hurry or if your sister-in-law is going to a wedding or you've got your hairdresser's appointment or whatever it is. There is no possible reason why you can be interviewed before the month that your visa is available, hence the availability comment from earlier. Sometimes a country within a region has a lower number. That's to control the progress, the speed of processing of a country that has an unusually high number of selectees and very few interviewing embassies. So, for example, in the case of Nepal has a high number of selectees because they have a lot of entries, so they get a high number of selectees typically in a normal year. And most Nepalese selectees will be interviewed at one embassy only, the Kathmandu embassy. So you'll see that KDU embassy could be overwhelmed if they were to go at the same pace as the rest of Asia. And to avoid that, it's possible that Asia as a whole could have a number of, let's say, 8,000, whilst KDU or Nepal would be shown as a number of, let's say, 6,100, 6,200, some number slower or under the rest of the Asian region. I hope that makes sense. Finally, if you see the word current against a region, it means any case number in that region can be scheduled, apart from a case that is from a country that is controlled at a lower number, as I just mentioned. So current means any case number can be scheduled. It effectively means that KCC and DHS have decided that there are enough visa spaces available for all remaining demand. Occasionally they get it wrong. In 2018, they actually made Africa current for the month of August, and then reduced that number to 39,500, I believe, later on in the following Visa Bulletin. So a number can be corrected or go backwards in the Visa Bulletin. That's very, very rare, but it is technically possible. Okay, let's take a look at the Visa Bulletin itself. We'll go to the Visa Bulletin and show you that. So this is the main page of the Visa Bulletin. Let me just pull this away. There we go. This is the main page of the Visa Bulletin. As you can see, the page, I'll give you this link in the text below. But at the top, you'll see, typically at any time of the month, you'll see either coming soon in this section, or you'll see, as you're seeing right now, two Visa Bulletins, effectively the current month and the upcoming Visa Bulletin. So if we were to look at the July 2019 Visa Bulletin, to explain how we look at these numbers, we would scroll down. There's a little bit of text there, you can pretty much ignore that. It then goes through the family-sponsored preferences and gives information about when visas are available for the various family-sponsored categories. Those availability dates are affected by certain regions and countries, so that's there. And that's family-sponsored. Same thing here. Then there are some notes about the employment-based visas. Again, we can pretty much ignore that, but those between family-based and employment-based visas, that accounts for a huge percentage of the overall immigration total in the US immigration policy. So those are very important for other people, but for DV lottery, we need to scroll down and come to section B here. In section B, now we're looking at the Visa Bulletin that is called the July Visa Bulletin. It was published in June, and it shows the numbers for the month of July and the numbers for the month of which will apply in August. This is the advance notice section that I was mentioning earlier. This is section C. And this particular one is showing that all regions are current. And if you see the previous month, all regions were current with a couple of country exceptions in the way I described earlier. Okay, so this one's actually a little uninteresting because everything is current. As I mentioned earlier, current simply means that there are more than enough visas for all of the applicants from all of the regions, and KCC and DHS have decided there is no need at this point to apply any sort of number restriction to those regions. So let me show you one that is a little bit more interesting. We'll go back in time a little bit, and we'll select one of the earlier Visa Bulletins, let's say the May Visa Bulletin. So the May Visa Bulletin would have been published in April, and it concerned the interviews for May and June. Okay, so we scroll right down. So this is the May section, and we would have been looking at the section here for June. This would have been the first time that these numbers would have applied for June. So let's take these numbers. For the month of June, a number of 37,200 was given for Africa, meaning any case number up to and including 37,199 could have been eligible for an interview in June. If, on the other hand, the case was a person that was chargeable to the country of Egypt, they would have had to have had a lower limit applied of 21,110. And so any case number in Egypt would have been under the number of 21,109, or that number itself as well. In Asia, there was a 10,000 limit with a smaller limit for Nepal. Europe, you can see, had its own number. North America is a very, very small region, really just concerns the Bahamas. And there's the number given there. Oceania and South America and the Caribbean are shown there as well. Okay, so that's that's the visa bulletin for May. Let's look at the previous month, and we'll scroll down again. This was the April number, and you can see that April, we just saw the number at 37,200 for Africa. So in the month of May, it was 24,500. It jumped to 37,200, great joy for a lot of people. You can see those sort of jumps in some months. And you can see that for the month of April itself, it had been 18,900. So you can see that there's a progression month to month, 18,900 for interviews in April, interviews in May, 24,500 for Africa, and by June they were cleared up to 37,200. So that's the sort of progression you can expect to see. The progression is not the same year to year. The progression, basically, the progression works very briefly this way. If the KCC decide they want to interview, let's say, 1,000 people, and they look at, or 1,000 cases, and they look at the region, and they're trying to find 1,000 cases, if only 200 of the next, let's say, 2,000 case numbers, let's say only 200 of the next 2,000 case numbers have submitted their DS-260 and submitted their documents, then that 2,000 numbers wouldn't have yielded enough interviews or people ready for interview in order to satisfy the numbers and the capacity of the embassies. So if they're trying to get 1,000 interviews, they would keep increasing the number, increasing this number effectively, to see that they can yield enough people ready for interview based on the DS-260 submission and documents being processed. Does that make sense? That's kind of how it works. And so you'll see these numbers will increase sometimes rapidly, sometimes slowly. It's not the same number of increase every month, and it won't necessarily be the same increase this year as it was last year or in any other year. It will vary year to year. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. There's one more thing that we can see in the Visa Bulletin. In some months, let's just look at this one. In, for example, fiscal year 2018, the August 2018 Visa Bulletin had some additional information. So beyond section C, which is our section for the advance notice, that was interesting. This is when, this is actually the awful month. This was, this particular month showed that for the month of August, Africa was current. And then for the month of September, a lower limit was imposed. That was a big shock and disappointment to many people, and represents a big mistake on the part of KCC. But anyway, that particular month was pretty sad. The other thing that is in this particular visa bulletin, this will happen in the next bulletin or two this year, is the selectee numbers for each region. So these are the number of people selected. So Algeria had 2,462 selectees. And these were the 2019 results being published way back in the August 2018 Visa Bulletin, which itself was published in July of 2018. July, and we can see the published date, I believe, here. Yeah, date of publication is July 10th, 2018. Okay, so that is something that we're expecting to happen in the next Visa Bulletin. The next Visa Bulletin will be published in July. It'll be called the August Visa Bulletin, and I am expecting to see DV 2020 selectee numbers, which is an extremely critical and important piece of information. I'm expecting to see those numbers in the August Visa Bulletin. All right, I hope that was interesting and helpful. I hope you're a little bit clearer on how to read the Visa Bulletin for DV lottery cases. Please subscribe to my channel. As I've mentioned before, I'm going to be producing a number of these informational videos over the next few weeks. And if you want to understand the visa process for DV lottery, the green card lottery, there is a lot of information I have to share with you. And so please subscribe, like this video as well. That helps my channel. And by all means, good luck with your green card process. Thank you.